Welcome back to another fitness video with Nat. So I know a lot of you have been commenting down the videos, and we actually asked you on the last video what would help you improve your golf. And we've got so many people saying lower back.
Big one, lower back pain.
I mean, I'm guilty. I've been doing quite a lot of walking in lockdown and my lower back's killing. So we're going to talk to you today about why your lower back could be hurting and give you 3 exercises that's going to stop that lower back pain. So now, why do golfers and why do people potentially get lower back problems?
Yeah, so again, real common one within golf, and something that we see a lot, probably you see a lot within lessons, and I certainly see as probably the most common trait for golfers that come in the gym. And there can be many reasons why this happens. And a lot of the time, your lower back typically is the thing that's suffering, but it's not always necessarily the root cause
it's not,
problem.
Because I hear so many golfers say, oh, I've done my back in, I need a massage on my back. When really, is that sort of like putting a plaster over the problem?
Essentially, yeah. Right. It's kind of a symptom rather than a cause.
Okay.
Not in all cases, obviously. You know, if you have had some sort of injury where you may have fallen on your back, or you've got some sort of disc issue down the lower back end here, then potentially that is the main cause. But a lot of the time for golfers that complain of sore back, which is somewhere along like the belt line or the top of the glutes a lot of the time, then it'll be as a result of something else not doing its job and functioning properly in the body.
Okay, so what are those areas? Because a lot of people would never have thought that. I know, like, before getting a bit more body aware and stuff like this, I'd be like, if I've got a lower back problem, it's my lower back.
Yeah, and exactly, why would you not think that? Because that's where you feel the pain, right? So there's a few things that can be going on that can be contributing to the source of the pain being in the lower back. So firstly, the main thing can be some weakness through certain areas of the body. So typically through the core and through the glutes. Okay. And if we go through the core first, your core kind of has a few roles as a person and as a golfer, but one role is to sort of protect the spine. It sort of sits on the front here. And then you've got the glutes on the other side to help them. And what they do is sort of create this cylinder of pressure through the middle of the body, maintaining a consistent spinal angle and making sure everything functions in there properly. So one thing we see a lot with golfers, if I'm sort of coming onto the side here, is the way they set up can cause a big issue to the spine. Okay. So you may see this in your lessons. You'll get someone set up to the ball here, and they've got this sort of duck butt position.
But aren't you meant to stick your bum out when you play golf?
Allegedly. So you see this position where they set up and they've got this arch of the pelvis here, so you can actually feel it if you put your hands on your hip bones at home. What you'll find is that the pelvis has come down towards the floor, the belt buckle will point towards more the floor down here, and then you've got this arch in the lower back and this dip, or what's called like an S posture. And what that's done is it compressed the bones of the lower spine, so they've sort of come into one another like this.
And if you think then you're turning in the golf swing quite fast.
Exactly. So you're really prone to injury in that position naturally, because the core is not supporting the spine in that position. And this is where it can get a little bit complicated, but just to keep it really simple for people, if you imagine a plug socket is the core, so you've got your belly button here and a wire and another plug. If I'm plugged in like this, I'm neutral. If I tilt like this, I sort of unplug myself. And this is where the core can be deactivated or sort of less effective, if you like, in posture. So that's one big reason, is posturally we get this S shape here where the bones have touched each other. They're sort of compressed. What that does then is it restricts the amount of hip turn that I can make, because I've sort of blocked the hip joint off slightly. And also the musculature that sits along the side of the back here becomes shortened and therefore compressed, sort of tight over time.
And then you're going to walk again, if you keep on that posture and you're walking, there's even more pressure.
Exactly, you've got a bag on your back, you're walking like this. You probably don't realise, because you're so used to standing in that position day to day, you won't have a clue that you're doing it. And I think a big fault that I come across as well is that coaches like yourself, you know, they may be unaware of these postures and positions as well. So like you say, you're meant to stick your butt out, but we don't want you to arch it.
No, exactly.
What we want you to do is sort of hinge back and sit into it more athletically. So we're in neutral, we're using the core, we're using the glutes.
Even for some people, it may even feel like the tilt and the tailbone under, potentially from where they've been to keeping it neutral.
Yeah, if you're someone who is in S posture like this, you almost want to have the opposite thought of tucking the butt or the belt buckle underneath. So one sort of tip I use for a lot of my golfers is that if your pelvis is a bucket of water, you're going to throw water on you and throw water to the floor. So if you're throwing water on the floor here, you're in S. And then what we want to do is throw the water back on you and sort of tuck it back under. Not over-exaggerate the position.
So the core is the first area. What's the second area of
so the core is one of the main reasons. Weakness through the glutes, if you think the glutes support this side of the pelvis. So what I'm doing then is that as I'm stood in golf posture, I'll turn this way, I'm being supported here by glute max, which is essentially the big booty muscle.
Yeah.
So again, that plays a role in not doing this. So this could be one big contributor to lower back pain. If I'm an early extender, I'm arching my lower back a lot of the time to come forwards into the ball. But also as well, as you say, if golfers are swinging at speed, then we don't have the support here for the pelvis. So it allows the pelvis to move, which allows the bottom portion of the spine to not be stable. So there can be some issues come off the back of that as well. So core strength and glute strength play a huge role within that.
So I'm guessing that's where our exercises are going to take hold.
We'll delve into a couple of those exercises in a bit, yeah.
Okay, so now coming up, next up is exercise number 1. Okay, so this is exercise number 1, and if you've not got a box mat, you can use your sofa, can't you?
Yeah, sofa, bed, small coffee table, providing you're not going to actually
not glass
through it, no glass. Anything really you can rest your shoulder blades on that's stable.
Perfect. So what do I need to do? You said to me to sit on the edge.
So what we're going to do is get you to set up with your shoulder blades on the box.
Okay, so I go.
Make sure that your neck isn't on the box before we start. That's key, that we don't want to be hanging off the neck for this. So if I get you to just pop up, Alex, you're going to rest your shoulder blades across the back of the box. I'm going to get you to put your hands over your chest. And then what we're going to do with the feet is just make sure the feet are under the knees here. And I'm going to ask you to bring this leg to 90 degrees. So you're just going to bring this up if I raise you up a bit. So just as a guideline, we've got the knee over the hip, so come this way a little bit for me. That's it, which is hard as it is, yeah?
It's hard just to do that.
And then what we're going to do is I'm going to get you to drop your right glute down, keep bending, keep going, and I want you to thrust up and squeeze your butt cheek tight at the top. So we're getting these sort of rough 90 positions.
Yeah.
So we've got 90 degrees off this leg roughly, 90 off this leg, and this is the hard bit, holding this up. So this just contributes to the weight that right glute is sort of thrusting from the floor. And a real key point for everyone to remember here is that the heel must stay down. So I don't want you to have your toes, your heel up and the weight coming into the toes here.
You're keeping both flat, both down to the ground.
That's it, exactly right.
And how many times would you repeat those exercises?
So this is quite tough on this.
Yeah, that's why I'm not doing it.
Much more advanced version of the bridge that we did a couple of weeks ago. So 10 is enough, and if you're a beginner, I'm going to say start 5 to 10.
Each side.
Technique's really key with this. So as we said before about the core and the glute strength, what we're looking for is to squeeze that glute, thrust it up almost into the hips, and at the same time feel like you're bracing the core into itself.
So this is doing both, is it? This is working bit of core. Because I could feel that I was trying to have to sort of stabilise my body there without letting the left side dip down.
Correct. What we're trying to avoid is any lateral sway to the side and any excessive arch of the pelvis on your way down.
So if they were looking at it from face on, which they're going to see right now, they'd see me trying to go straight up, straight down, rather than a little bit side to side.
So if you imagine you coming down and then we're coming up. So what we're trying to do is sort of push pressure into the torso. So we're getting the glute working one way and the core working the other to keep this area stable.
Fab. Let's get on to exercise number 2. Okay, this is exercise number 2. What do I need to do here now? So
this is a really good exercise for the core and a bit tricky, hence why we've got a prop. So I'm going to get you to come hands and knees, please.
So again, this is going to feel glutes and core all the same thing.
This is mainly a core exercise, and it's a really good exercise for the stability of the pelvis down here. So what I'm going to get you to do, Alex, is just before I start using our prop and we show what the prop is for, I'm just going to talk you through the exercise.
Okay.
So as a rough idea in terms of setup, we've got the hands just in front of the shoulders, we've got the knees just under the hips, and you're in a neutral spine here. So we're not arched, we're not in that S posture like we said. And to make sure that we keep this neutral spine, you're going to suck your belly button up to the ceiling and maintain that tightness and feel like you're squeezing both glutes at the same time. So if I get you to extend one arm and the opposite leg, please, and you're going to try and maintain these positions as best you can. Then we're going to go on to the opposite side, so the other arm and leg. And this is the motion of the exercise that we're looking for. And the key to this is that we make sure that this area maintains its stability. There's no arch, there's no lateral sway. So we've got the prop to try and demonstrate this as best we can, right?
I'm worried.
You should be. So if I rest this on your lower back, it should be steady, okay? And I hopefully want to make sure that you can keep that bar steady across your lower back as best you can. So now what you might have to do is shorten the amount of extension you
going to say that,
on the leg, because you might feel like you knock it over.
Are you better to go shorter but keep the bar on than try and go a bit further? Okay.
There's no use extending an arm and a leg, and we lose the angle and position of the spine, and we sort of disengage the core of the glutes. So as best you feel you can, extend an arm and a leg, maintaining that position of the bar. So we can see straight away it's starting to wobble a little bit.
That's really hard.
Yeah, it's really tough this. Into the opposite side, really steady with it. So you're squeezing the glutes, we're drawing the belly button up to the ceiling. Good.
I feel better that side.
That's it. You're probably going to favour one side compared to the other. And this exercise is great for really just training the core to brace, to engage itself, to protect the pelvis and maintain stability, which is what the role of the core is really in the golf swing.
I'm still surprised it's on.
It's close. It's a good job it's not a glass. Sometimes I do that with the juniors. I'll make them take the lid off their bottle. Whoever spills their drinks in trouble.
And how many should I be looking to do with this?
Again, 5 each side to begin with is probably enough. If you think that you can master this properly, we'll go for 10 each side.
And then slow.
Your hand here.
Slow and controlled is.
Slow and controlled is the way for this. Just do one probably too fast, Alex, just to show everyone that if you start to lose the core, it's going to fall off you quite easily.
Yeah, definitely.
So real good exercise there for everyone to try at home.
So you could literally form a little bit of a workout with these two exercises so far. A little bit of glutes and core to start with, and then more concentrating on core.
Exactly, like the two we've done so far, these are slightly more advanced than what we've done in our previous videos. So if you're finding these ones slightly easier, then it's probably a good thing because you've been working through the ones that we've already shown.
And vice versa, if you're brand new to the channel, then make sure you go and check out all the others, and obviously go and check out what all Nat is doing at her website as well. All that link is down below. Lots of exercise, and you can get some tailored plans that are actually for you. Let's get on to the final exercise, number 3. Let's go.
Yeah, I like this one. This is a good stability drill. This sort of combines a little bit of the two things we've already been talking about. Fires up the glutes and the hips, connects you to the floor nicely, and brings in a little bit of core strength with some rotation, which obviously we need in the golf swing. So
what do I need to do?
You can use anything at home.
Okay.
The wall. If you're going to use the wall, make sure you take your shoes off. We don't want mud up.
We're going to get messages saying broken coffee tables and horrible paintwork.
Broken coffee tables, got a massive footprint on the wall. So if you're at home, take your shoes off. That's fine. What I'm going to get you to do, Alex, is just place your left foot on the ridge.
How far away should I come?
You'll find you have to be able to touch what's behind you. So if you feel too far away, you'll sort of figure it out.
My foot should be flat behind me?
Yeah, so this right foot here is nice and flat to the floor. And then what I'm going to get you to do is, if I just get you to start up tall before we get going, is I'm going to get you to sort of sink into that right hip by pushing your butt back and making sure that you're drawing your abs in so we don't get this dip here. So if I just get you to suck in a touch more, there we go. And then what you're going to do is just gently bend over, and I'm going to get you to load by rotating as far as you can into that right leg, holding it there, and you should be able to feel your glutes firing up and doing a little
definitely.
Okay, into the middle and stand yourself tall. So that's one rep. So you're just going
to always come back to here?
Yeah, we're going to come up tall because I want people to understand how to create the movement and not get blended and sort of lost in translation somewhere in the middle. So you rotate, you can feel your foot fighting against the ground, quads working, glutes firing up, core's doing a bit of work to stop you.
Glute is definitely fired there now.
This is a really good one. It's slightly more advanced again, it's tough. And what we would do typically in the gym here, Alex, is we might give you a ball to hug, we might add some weight into this. So if people are trying this at home and they're finding this a bit easy, they're holding balance really nicely, go and get a pillow off the bed, fold it in half, hug the pillow, put some tension into it and really fire up that core a bit more.
I mean, I felt personally quite tight through here there.
Yeah.
So I think if I felt looser there, I could potentially go a bit further.
Yeah. Do you feel like you've gone to your end?
Yeah.
Yeah, and we were talking about this earlier, weren't we, in the sense that when we're talking about lower back pain and what golfers are really struggling with, again, the lower back being sort of a symptom as opposed to a cause of the root issue. Again, what can be happening is if people are tight in this middle portion of the spine, the lower back tries to overcompensate and rotate more for what this isn't doing. And therefore, when people are stiff in that middle or thoracic portion of the spine, the lower back will try and rotate. But in an exercise like that, because you've got your foot up against the wall, we've sort of fixated you in.
Yeah, isolated it, haven't we?
To rotate from these areas. So then what you're finding is you're like, well, I've gone as far as I can and I'm a bit stuck. And that's just telling you that maybe that this middle portion of the spine needs a little bit more movement.
And we did exercises on that last time, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. We've covered a couple of exercises in our 2 or 3 previous videos that will be really, really good for that.
But we'll leave a link just up here just for you to check that out. So just in terms of getting this right for everybody, I want to arms across the chest to begin with, sink down,
that's it, sit into
forwards,
bend forwards, rotate. So you're getting that shoulder underneath naturally like we would do in a backswing. We're maintaining spinal angle and you're having to use the lower body to keep the balance, to keep the stability, to allow this upper body to rotate naturally.
This is all like kind of very golfy, this one, isn't it?
I mean, if you try and sway in that position,
I'm gone.
You're going to fall over. And that's exactly what's happening in the golf swing. I mean, no one's going to sway so excessively they'll knock themselves over, but what's happening is they're swaying off the ball to create momentum. So a drill like this is it's great for the golf swing and the body. It's a nice bang for your buck exercise.
And then if I'm doing the opposite, I'm always turning into the standing leg, aren't I?
Yeah, you're always going to turn into the leg, so then we would change legs, change the feet on the wall and rotate the opposite side.
Perfect. So there you go. There are top 3 exercises to stop you getting back pain.
Yeah.
Now, as we said in previous videos, we're here to help you get fitter for golf. Now, obviously, if you want some more tailored stuff personally to you, you know where to go. But if you want anything, you've got any questions, please do comment them down below because we're here to help you improve. So if we don't know what's up with you, we can't help. Thanks so much for watching. Thanks for coming on.
No problem.
And see you next week when another one of these videos drops.